Okay, I'm going to try this again. It's like I haven't had a whole lot of luck lately uploading videos to YouTube, but keep trying. So this is the first little lecture on Chapter 5, helping your horse keep up with the cart. I've got a short PowerPoint presentation for this chapter, and this particular chapter is going to look at the instructional process, which is on the second slide there in the PowerPoint. You got three parts to this thing: a need assessment, job analysis, and task analysis. Most of us are going to have our curriculums laid out for us right up front, so you and I don't have to worry about doing a whole lot of creation of curriculum. That's kind of left to curriculum committees or else other people. But maybe you'll be a part of a curriculum committee, or in our case there at Acadian, we may be able to start a new program to train operators for alternative fuel plants. And so we would begin this three-step process in order to create a curriculum to teach students that occupation. And the first starts with a need assessment. It involves doing a survey of all of the industries that would hire those students, and then finding out whether or not there's a present need or a future need for that particular occupation, and then using that data to make a decision of whether or not that would be a viable course to be able to teach and sustain. Then once that determination has been made, then we would look at the job itself, do a job analysis, and find out what it is these people need to know. And don't hold back on exactly what we need to look at. We look at all the aspects of the job, good, bad, and everything in between. And once that's done, we start looking at the individual tasks that they perform on a daily or periodic basis, and then looking at those things in very, very minute detail to see what are the steps that they need to know in order to get that skill mastered, and then do that for every one of them. It may be hundreds, it may just be just a few, but still every one of those tasks has to be dealt with in order that our students can go to work and do what they've been trained to do. And this is usually done, like I said, with new programs. Existing programs don't really need to start from scratch, but yet we periodically need to update that, because things do change. Now, in order to teach what it is we need to teach, we need to develop some performance objectives. And these performance objectives basically have some parts to them, and the elements of a good performance objective will have three components in it. It's going to have something about the action that the students must be capable of performing. What is it we have them to do? And it needs to be written out exactly what it is they will be asked to accomplish, and then the conditions under which that action is going to take place. Normally we have them work in our labs, but that may not be the case. I know our masonry instructor gets some complaints from some of his students about how hot the lab is during the summertime, and he said, well, maybe we just need to move everything outside so you can go to work and work under the conditions where you'll be working whenever you go to find you a job in the masonry field. And so he was thinking about just setting up outside. on the concrete. Obviously, that's how it is in that particular occupation. You'll be out in the elements, and he hadn't done it yet, but who knows what might happen. But those conditions that they have to deal with, environmental, is certainly one aspect of it. Then the standards of performance. Maybe if you're a welding instructor, you can just visually look at the students' beads as they lay them off on a piece of metal. But then you may want to maybe cut them in half and show the student, well, this is how far your weld penetrated. That's good enough. That's not good enough. Need to redo it, or else put it in a press and see how much pressure the weld can take before it breaks. And so those are some kind of things unique to that program. It may just be that in the case of my former drafting experience, you look at a drawing, the line work is good, the drawing is drawn to the right amount of accuracy. Student gets a passing grade on it, and then you move on. So it kind of depends upon what it is we're teaching as to what kind of standards of performance are there. Then we've got to answer some questions. Who's performing the action? Obviously, it's going to be the student. That one's very, very simple to answer. But the others are a little bit more complicated. At or in what time the action is performed. You and I may put our students on the clock for some of the work that they have to do. Back in my drafting experience, we put our students on the clock. Every one of their drawings had a time limit on it, because we wanted to get them having the mindset of working with deadlines, because that's one of the critical portions of this occupation, where you have to have a drawing done at a certain time and move it on to the fabricator so that they can start building this thing and get the job done according to the contract. Because if you go beyond the contract time, it's going to cost you, and your customer's certainly not going to be satisfied, and certainly you want their repeat business. But deadlines are just part of the process, and so Mr. Doucette and I just decided right up front, put them on the clock. And like that, they will have to get their work done and get it done on time. And so that's what we did. And if they took longer, they got penalized for it. That may not be your case, but yet there needs to be some kind of time frame given of how long they've got to complete that action. And under what conditions is the action performed? Obviously, that takes place in our labs, but in the case of our masonry instructor, he said, you're going to be working out in some very tough conditions, perhaps, where you have to deal with heat, cold, and so you could say they need to lay some bricks off of outside in this weather and get it done. In the case of our truck driving program, it's kind of difficult to simulate snow or low temperature driving, but yet we can do that with our truck driving simulator to give them the feel for what it's like to be able to have to deal with that kind of environmental hazard and pass that portion of the course. So What are the conditions? Again, that's kind of unique to the program itself. In what amount is the action performed? There may be some programs and some things we ask students to do that may take days to get it done. In the case of auto mechanics, you may have to grade a student in engine repair, where they will take and overhaul an engine. Well, there's always something that probably won't get done in a class period, even if you meet all day. So that may be something that you'll have to kind of space within a week, 3 days, whatever it is you specify. But it is written down there in that performance objective. And then, how's the action performed? Or I should say, how is the action measured? What standard for passing do you have? I kind of wonder how our culinary arts people grade food. You know, you cook a cake. Well, does it taste good? Does it look good? I'm totally at a loss of what else you could use to grade a cake. But obviously, there may be more for a student to pass a course. For nurses, right now, the students are grabbing anybody and everybody that they possibly can in the patient care tech group to get their arms stuck to draw blood. Well, how do you measure whether a person did it right or did it wrong? Well, you got to know, have some standards to be able to measure that by. And so, I think this will be enough for this particular video. And so, I'll pick up with the fourth slide on the PowerPoint in the next little video.